You're watching Diecast Breakdown with Chuck Ellis, David Johns, and Mark McHotwheel. So sit back, strap in, and hang on. The breakdown starts now.
Well, hey there, folks. Chuck here, and welcome to Diecast Breakdown, where we are actually live now. So thank you so much for bearing with us as we're figuring out what all the buttons do on this crazy thing. We're so glad you're here. I am joined, as I frequently am, by my co-host, Mr. David Johns.
What's up, guys?
And Mr. Mark McHotwheel.
Hello, everyone.
And we are joined today by Mr. Freddie Boggs of House of Cars, Virginia. And we will have him on in just a minute. In fact, you know what? I'm going to bring him on right now. Hey,
Bring
Freddie,
him
how
on.
you doing
Bring him
today?
on.
How's everybody doing? Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me.
The champ is here.
We are so excited. He's got his belt on. So we know this is official. And we are going to be talking with Freddie about all sorts of really cool stuff. But it wouldn't be a live show if we didn't start without me asking the all-important question, gentlemen, what is exciting you in the world of diecast? David?
I've got some good stuff. I bet Freddie has seen some of these. We got a new set from Hot Wheels coming out. Yeah, we've got a new premium set coming out, a couple good-looking ones. I've already been corrected by our buddy in the UK, Rapid Nismo, that says that is a Celica Turbo.
Celica.
We got the Hot Wheels edition of the new Nissan Z, the 2023 in blue, looking good. These are going to be premiums with real riders on them. Pretty good looking set. How about a Ford Anglia? Anybody interested in that? I am.
Those Potterheads out there?
I am not.
Mark is not. All right. Not to be outdone, though, Matchbox has a pretty cool set of a new moving parts mix coming up. These should be coming up in your stores fairly soon. I am really digging the Porsche 356 with the
BMW, though.
Yeah, the BMW looks good. I maybe later in the show we can get some opinions and if these are going to be hot sellers in House of Cars. Last but not least, I've got for us is a Gran Turismo set coming out from Hot Wheels as well. Information I've got, it should be out around Christmas time. We've got some pretty cool stuff in it. Take a look at them, pick out your favorite. Those are the three things that I found this week, guys. I'm going to turn it over to Mark and see what he is looking forward to.
What I'm jonesing over right now is the mini. Yeah, jonesing. That's a David Johns word. David Jonesing.
He's Johnson over it.
Yeah, Johnson over it. So we've got Mini GT's got some really cool Miho exclusives. Ma the Miho. We've got a McLaren, one of my favorite cars of all time, McLaren F1. We got a R32. I think that's got a Lamborghini Urus and a BMW. I call that the BMW Pig Nose. And we've got a race car here. I don't know if that's a Zonda. And then we've got a sport bike with a woman there on it, what appears to be. And we've got those. I'm pretty excited about those, especially my favorite two out of those are the McLaren and the R32, of course.
Agreed.
And then we've got Hot Wheels has a really, really clean vintage Porsche set coming out. I'm a big fan of the card art on this. They killed it with that.
Right.
So the couple of favorite cars in here are you've got the 911, of course, and the 935. I think a lot of people like that. Like David, you like the 935s, don't you?
I think I like all of those, man, especially the 944.
944, guys like us can afford that kind of stuff. And so look out for that kit. I will be looking out for that kit. I will definitely be getting at least a couple of those. I'm not necessarily a completionist, so I won't probably buy all of them. I've dialed back. So keep your eye out for that. And then we also have a Hot Wheels 5-car JDM set that they're bringing the heat back with. I think a lot of us can remember this set is just kind of been tweaked. So we've got the Hako there that I'm a big fan of. All of them, really. They're all super cool.
Yep.
But so these I'll be keeping my eye out for these two. I'll be picking probably all those up. Can't help myself. So keep your eye out for those. And then we have a Hot Wheels has a special Zamac Sylvia S15 for the December Nismo event in Japan. And that thing's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of the basically just a set that came out, I feel like last year, the white and red version, but it's just a Zamac. So they tweaked it a little bit, but people will be going crazy over that, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, those are the things that are exciting me in the world of diecast.
Awesome. Well, I've got a few, and I don't normally go after old castings, but a favorite of mine, the more premium version of the AMC Javelin, is coming back to Hot Wheels in the form of an Ultra Hot, which means that it is a metal car, but it does have plastic wheels with that classic Ultra Hot look. It's a love it or hate it thing. I personally dig the retro style of it, and it's just a wheel swap away from being a really nice looking premium car. And this is a casting that's been dormant for about 6 years. 2018 is the last time we saw this one, and it's nice to have it back. This is the nicer version of the casting with a full roll cage inside. And shout out to Orange Track Diecast for this really cool photo and a breakdown of that. Also, the 81 Ford Fairmont is coming back. That's another one that hasn't been around for about 6 years. It's based on the Front Run in Fairmont, which is a Larry Wood original. One of my favorites from growing up in the Blackwall era. So it's nice to see that one coming back. There are more Matchbox mainlines coming. We got look
at that Jaguar.
The 77 Jaguar. XJ6, the new Lincoln Continental, and they've taken that Morris Minor and made a saloon version of it for the main lines. There's another moving parts set that's coming out that's just dropped in 2024. This is going to be including a new 78 Ford Bronco and a 70 AMC Javelin, which does not have the kooky fender flares of the later 71 Javelin. It's a very nice, clean design in my favorite AMC color, Big Bad Blue. They got a couple other cars in there that are kind of existing ones or newer castings, but those are the two that really interest me. Our friends over at what's it called? Stance
Hunters.
Stance Hunters. Thank you. I don't have my notes in front of me. Have this crazy post-apocalyptic little skyline, because apparently this is the year that everybody's doing Mad Max and off-road style skylines. And there will be only 499 of these made in 2024. And this is a preview image of that, which I thought was pretty cool. Finally, 10 Grill collection from M2 that I'm very excited about. And check out that one in the top left corner. These are the Walmart exclusives. That one in the top corner might look a little familiar to people who grew up watching TV Land or who grew up watching it when it first aired, but it is a tribute to the Emergency TV show. It's the Station 51 emergency response vehicle, and just a really great collection of Mopar trucks. And as the owner of one of this era trucks, I am very excited about that. So now for the smallest channel shout out portion of the show. Shout out to Coco Diecast. Go check this channel out. He is an up and coming customizer with only about 200 subscribers, and he's doing some really cool stuff. His link will be in the description, so go check him out. And finally tonight, on a somber note, today is Chris Walker's birthday, and we wish his family the very best. He is remembered for being one of the most influential customizers in the game, one of the OGs of diecast customizing, and has done so much for this hobby and this community, and he is deeply missed. But a happy birthday to him on this day. Finally, we are actively looking for contributors to the Diecast Media Network channel. As we've said before, if you've got a show idea or you want to do some videos, but you don't want to go through the trouble of setting up your own channel, we would like to share it on the Diecast Media Network for you, help you build your channel, that sort of thing. We're looking for people to collaborate with. So you can email us at diecastbreakdown@gmail.com, which is another place that you can send your news tips. If you've got an event, a build off, something cool you're doing, send it to diecastbreakdown@gmail.com, and we'll read it on the news section on a future episode. So, all right, well, that is our news segment. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be live with Freddie Boggs of House of Cards, Virginia. So stick around.
We'll be back with more Diecast Breakdown after this word from our sponsors. The day of giving has come and gone, but the diecast season of giving continues. We're halfway to reaching our goal of donating 20,000 cars around the world to kids in need. All you need are brand new and packaged diecast cars and a local charity of your choosing to join in. Help us put smiles on the faces that need it most. Learn how you can join in and submit your donation to be counted at drivendreams.org. Let's end the year strong.
Hey everybody, this is Jovita from the SRT Jovita Show, and you are watching Diecast Breakdown.
If you have a favorite diecast channel with less than 700 subscribers and you'd like to see them highlighted on a future episode, email us at diecastbreakdown@gmail.com. The Diecast Media Network store is here. Wear your passion with pride, featuring designs from Diecast Breakdown, Flying Valiant builds, plus unique designs inspired by diecast culture from Justin Ellis. Visit tpublic.com/Diecast Media Network now.
Hey, this is Chad Reed from Round 2, and you're watching Diecast Breakdown.
And now back to Diecast Breakdown.
All right, well, we are back, and Mr. Freddie Boggs is in the house. Freddie, thank you again so much for being here. We're so excited to talk to you today.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Now, what's going on with the belt there? You got to tell me.
Yeah.
There's something fancy on your shoulder there.
Well, we over here at House of Cards, Virginia, we kind of take things to a little bit of extreme. So we're known over here for our TikTok videos, our YouTube videos. I think the latest one we did was the Pamela Pumpkin Dance, the workout video. So decided to take a little extreme and get myself a championship belt because we're known as the diecast champions over here in Northern Virginia area.
Well said.
Absolutely. And for those who don't hail from the Virginia area, tell us a little bit about House of Cards Virginia and how that came to be.
Yeah, so strange event. I've only been in diecast for about 3 to 4 years now. During COVID, my son and a couple friends were asking me to go to local Walmarts during COVID to look for certain Hot Wheels for them. So I'd go to the Hot Wheel hunting. I guess that's what they call them now. Hot Wheel hunting, and my son started collecting Hot Wheels. I started finding Hot Wheels that nobody else could find for my friends or whatever. And then I started seeing all these groups pop up on all these social media channels of all these 20, 30,000, 100,000 people following diecast. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of people doing this. And then I found my first treasure hunt, and then I was like, oh wow, people are actually buying these and reselling them and doing all this other stuff. So of course, since COVID hit, I was working from home and I was bored out of my mind. So I started collecting every kind of diecast that was known to man. Quickly found out how much money that took and how much space that took. So I ended up selling everything and starting over again, where I would only start collecting Red Line Club cars, super treasure hunts, and convention cars and stuff I liked. Well, it turned out that I started thinking a lot bigger scale, so I started buying estate sales and large high scale auctions, where I'd get like 20,000 pieces of diecast. I'd keep all the super treasure hunts and I'd keep all the RLCs and then sell everything else. And it turned out where I amassed about $100,000 collection that I didn't pay a dollar for because of it.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And then I met CJ in House of Cars over in Vegas for the diecast convention 2 years ago. And we talked, and then I got talked into opening a store during the end of COVID time frame. And this is our first year of being open. So January, I think 17th is our anniversary date.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it's been almost a year. So that's really
It's almost been years since I had everybody out here.
Yeah.
So, Freddie, I'm curious. Like, I get and there's a lot of people watching this stream right now that probably sell online from time to time. But man, how do you go from doing an online auction to saying, I'm about to take this not to the next level, like 10 levels up, and I'm going to make this my living?
Well, it's actually quite easy. I'm actually the East Coast director for House of Cars. So there are 9 stores in operation to this day, and the licensing agreement. I can't say franchise, but I can say, company branded. Every store is self-owned by the owner. and we have 2 more already for 2024 slated to open. So we are the largest, I guess, shop for diecast in the United States, which we're looking at hopefully another 20 stores next year, hopefully join in.
That's awesome.
But so to get started, it's really, you need to have a passion for this. Obviously at any storefront, you're not going to get rich on your first couple of years. You're going to have to put in a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. But you need to find a good location that, has plenty of foot traffic, and you need to be able to raise the capital pretty much for your inventory. It's not so much hard to get started in diecast to sell, but the inventory is the killer. What limits people from doing it.
Right.
I actually have one of the biggest stores in the whole network. I have a 2,400 square foot store, so it takes a lot of diecast to fill that thing up.
So you get the power of the name recognition of House of Cards, but you get to call the shots in your store. It seems like a pretty awesome arrangement.
You are the owner of your store. You are the marketer of your brand. So it is all 100% yours.
Awesome. Congratulations on that. And just before I go, where else would the House of Cards Virginia be? Fred is running the one in Fredericksburg, correct?
That's correct. I'm in Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Putting the Fred in Fredericksburg. Well done.
That is correct.
Okay.
Top that, Mark.
I can't top that little dad joke, so I'm not a dad quite yet.
He's a dad in waiting.
Yeah, I'm dad in waiting.
Go ahead.
So I know what it's like to jump into something your own business. It's been about a year for me as well. Tell us about what it's been like starting your own company, filling the store up, the ups and the downs. There's probably highs and the lows. So just, you guys said that you're looking for 20 more stores opening up. So you can tell people what to expect when they open up their own diecast shop.
Well, for one, you have to have a passion for the hobby, because if you don't have a passion for the hobby, or you don't have some sort of likeness for the customers you're going to deal with, because you're going to obviously interact with the kookiest people there are. People who collect Hot Wheels are not generally always sane,
No, that's for sure.
Wait, what? What?
Some of them podcast about it.
No, yeah. But you have to have a good head on your shoulders, because obviously this is not a get-rich scheme anytime soon. You're going to have to put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in it. You're going to have to be able to market your brand, because it is at the end of the day your store. You're responsible for making sure it either succeeds or fails. And just getting a good team of people behind you to support you. House of Cards, we have a great back end support team that'll help you get started and be there for you for your opening day, and to make sure that if you need anything, that they're there for you.
Yep.
No, you got to be passionate about it. Otherwise, you're going to probably burn out pretty quick, probably in the first 6 months to a year, I would imagine.
I think that's why I have a full staff at my store. So I work for a government contract as well. So I get to be the boss, and I get to come when I want, leave when I want, and have a full staff to do it. So if I get tired of looking at cars for a little while, I can just go home and look at more cars. So
yeah, there you go.
Is such a thing possible to be able to get tired of? Yeah.
Apparently not, because ask my wife, it follows me home. So
yeah. I do have a question about that, because as somebody who is a collector as well as a seller, that's got to be really tempting to not get high on your own supply when you've got all these great cars coming through, and making sure they don't come home with you. How do you find the balance there?
Well, luckily, I knew from the first that I was going to open the store that I needed inventory. Well, I already had such a big inventory on my walls. So I ended up liquidating almost all of my collection. I kept, since I have kids, I love the Disney cars. So I collect Disney cars. So all them, Hot Wheels Disney character cars, I have them. I was a fan of the ID series when they were a thing a couple of years ago.
Sure,
so I had every ID known to man. I even had the employee only that was worth like $4,000. It was an employee Roger Dodger car that came out for only Mattel. I think it was $250 made for the employees. So I ended up with one of those. And then I'm starting to collect mini GT and Katos, because I have so many customers that come in my store, bring me their Hot Wheel collections, and traded it for Katos and mini GTs. So I love my Mini GT Kato collection that's in the store in the display. And then I do like the cool combis, so I collect cool combis as well. But I leave those at the store for a store collection.
Sure.
Chuck, we got a couple company or store related questions. If you
we do, I was just gonna say Toyo Toys or Toyo Toys, I don't know, asks, do all the stores share the inventory for online sales? That's a good question.
So when it comes to online sales, we hook you up with the distributors. So we actually have several distributors that we can work with. I work with Spin Master and a couple of other Miho exclusives. We're really tight with them. Your East Coast and your West Coast distributors would be the ones to talk to get all your inventory ordered and all that stuff. But pretty much it's up to you what you put in your store. Every store sells stuff differently. I never sell much M2 in my store. But, you go to store in North Carolina, they sell out of North M2 all the time. So what hits here is not going to hit everywhere. So you get to control all that, as well as buying your own collections and, people trading in collections. That's how you get your inventory.
Sure. Yeah. That Naruto Wolf asks a question in that vein, says, does personal taste affect sales, like trying to sell fantasy castings compared to in real life cars?
Well, we have a good way in our store to get rid of fantasy cars because kids love fantasy cars. And we do a lot of marketing to all the families in our area. So half of our customer base is not collectors; they're actually families coming in, getting grab bags. We sell grab bags for all the customers. They get kid grab bags all the time, which have cars meant for kids to open and to play with, and that's how we get rid of our fantasy. So most of my 2000 mainline wall, which is ridiculously large, there's not many fantasy castings on the wall whatsoever. So when you come into like my location, you're going to see nothing but real life cars everywhere.
Well, that's a bummer because I really like fantasy cars. Zoom in.
Well, then you can definitely get a couple grab bags and you'll be happy with it.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll walk out with a couple of grab bags for sure. Yeah,
that's such a wild thing. So when you said one of the questions, a question I had is you said you want to find a place that has a lot of foot traffic. So did you have a place in mind already when you were thinking, hey, this might be something I want to do? How did you determine this would be a good location? Like how did you?
Well,
that?
I didn't take the advice to everybody that was smarter than me. A lot of people told me, especially my wife, hey, you need to get a small store and start from small and then work your way up to a bigger store like most normal sane people. I got the biggest store I could find. And in fact, I wish I would have got a bigger store because I wanted to house all the products that we could house that we would be limited to at a smaller store. But yeah, we had to look around for a while to find out what could really work out here. The rent out where we are in Northern Virginia is pretty high. It's almost as high as California and New York and all that other stuff. So the rent is pretty high no matter where. So we were looking for the best foot traffic area. And then the best, obviously leasing area would make sense with the overhead cost.
Yeah, it makes sense. Can I ask a question about the company in general, Freddie? House of Cars. I don't think we don't have a name that's out there that is a go-to for collectors nationwide, like House of Cars wants to be. I love the idea of the growth that you guys are looking at, and I know you're all independent operators, but there is a connection to the other stores. And I'm curious, have you thought about how House of Cars is kind of shaping the hobby and making it more accessible to collectors?
Oh yeah, of course. So House of Cars started about 12 years ago in California with a gentleman named CJ Kramer. You may know him. Him and Steve hold the biggest diecast conventions by yet of Hot Wheels. They're the second probably biggest conventions that are held in Vegas every year. And they started a company in a garage about 12 years ago. And since then, not only do they have a whole entire entertainment company that deals with car shows and car venues and diecast conventions, but they started opening up these diecast stores because the public needed diecast places you could go to. Because if you go to Walmart, Target, or anywhere else, you're going to see that the pegs have been raided and there's nothing for you there. Most of the time, you're going to go home crying. Well,
Yeah.
these our
Mostly
stores,
just
our
dating.
stores, our stores are definitely never bare pegs. In fact, one of our philosophies here in Virginia is you'll never find an empty peg out here. If we find an empty peg, that means I need to fire someone because they're not doing their job.
Yikes.
But when it comes to that is, like these people like Miho Exclusives, M&J, all of them, they have all these great products, but Walmart, Target, they don't carry them. Cato House, you're not going to find them at Walmart.
Right. Yep.
Local diecast stores and House of Cars locations nationwide, you're going to find every new brand that comes out. We pre-order them in months in advance. So we are always pre-sell and pretty much sell out of all the mini GT Cato houses, all the newer brands that people are just now getting into. People are waking up and realizing that it's not just about Hot Wheels and Matchbox and Mini GT or M2. There are so many more brands, so many more good companies out there that people are starting to give chances to, and we carry them all.
Yeah, thank goodness, man.
But a little bit more about House of Cars is there's actually 9 locations right now. You have 2 in California. You got 1 in Vegas. So if you're ever in Vegas on all the Strip, go see them. You got 1 down in Myrtle Beach, 1 in Lexington, South Carolina. You got 1 in Tallahassee, Florida. So if you're close to Disney World, take a chance to go down to Tallahassee and see them. Then you got 1 in Virginia for all the Northern Virginia, Maryland people. You got 1 in Detroit, Michigan, which I had the privilege of helping open this year. You got 1 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Then 2 more opening in Washington and Texas next year. So we have them everywhere.
That's such good
D.C.
news,
or
man.
Washington State?
Washington State.
Ooh,
Where
I'm at.
Yep. That's dangerous. And Tallahassee is pretty close to Gainesville. So it's not too close. But that's interesting. So Jeff Brummett says House of Cars Gatlinburg will move some cars. And that's certainly true because Gatlinburg's got that Star Cars place.
And we are looking for somebody in Gatlinburg. So if you want to, you can always email me and we can get you set up. I got a nice little PowerPoint presentation. It goes over everything it takes to open one of these stores, and we'll get you started.
Man, I was just
there
thinking,
you go, Jeff.
I was just thinking Gainesville would be a good location, but it might be too close to Tallahassee. But you never know. There's actually a couple good diecast shops down south of me in Ocala, but Gainesville's got a pretty decent car culture scene with the Winter Nationals happening, or not the Winter Nationals, the Gator Nationals happen here. And we got Don Garlett's Museum of Drag Racing just down the road in Ocala. But there are a lot of places where I could see this model doing very well. So it's really kind of cool. And that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to do with this channel was kind of find ways to unite what I saw early on as being a very scattered hobby. And I think it still is. There's just so many people out there doing stuff in this hobby that, not only they have their own little slice of the audience, but it's very small and it's hard to get them all talking to each other. So the point of this channel was to kind of broaden that, bring people from these various groups together so we could mix and mingle and learn about different ways that people are enjoying the hobby. And it sounds like from a retail side, this is a really solid model. I'm really excited about that. I've got a couple of questions coming in that are kind of on a similar vein to questions that we answered before, but like when you talk about to kind of paraphrase some of them, when you talk about like launching that PowerPoint or launching that sales, like what would it be like? What kind of startup does it take? Does it take having a large personal collection? Can you start without a large personal collection, or do you have to have some kind of an existing infrastructure if you're going to make something like this happen?
The biggest thing is the startup cost. Obviously, it's a relatively cheap way to open up a business. It's one of those business models you can actually open pretty cheaply if you have a large collection. If you have a collection you're going to put in the store and start from scratch. If you don't have a large collection, then you're going to have to go out and get a collection. You're going to have to acquire, because as you well know, people come and this is a hobby and then they leave this hobby. So there's a lot of avenues you can acquire new merchandise for your patrons. So, and then you can also have the distributors. So once you sign the contract, you have access to all the distributors. House of Cars itself will give you an allowance towards merchandise. So you'll get where we actually order for your opening day. We'll order up to like $20,000 of merchandise for you. And so it'll be at your store by your opening day, and we come out and help set that all up for you. We come out and support you on that day open, and also we get the celebrities involved. We have a lot of contracts with well-known celebrities. I had several members of the Fast and the Furious crew here for my opening day. Just a little bit about our opening day. We did over 1,500 people. The record for any diecast opening. We had 1,500 people standing outside for 5 hours straight, and it took 5 hours to get in our store.
Wow!
Congratulations, man.
So it was really well, and having this, having the the relationship we do with our celebrities, the Pawn Star guys and Fast and the Furious and several other countless celebrities, definitely helps when you start up your own business to get people in the door.
Hey, Freddie, Mark and I had the good fortune of being in Vegas for the SuperCon this past March, and thought that the whole setup was just class. It was professional, had a great time. If there are people out there, Mark's got his House of Cars Camaro there. If there's people out there that haven't pulled the trigger on making a trip to a convention, how would you sell that to them?
Well, a lot of people have the travel issue. They're so far from these conventions. As you well know, the Vegas convention is the biggest one in the House of Cars neighborhood, but we also have one in Florida, the Weekend of Wheels. We also have another one in Santa Clara every year. And we have so many things lined up for next year and the year after that, with so many companies that I'm not at liberty to talk about right now. But just for our network of conventions, you have no idea what's coming. So chances are there is going to be something in your backyard soon that you can go to. However, you guys should always look at these neighborhood mom and pop stores too, because they typically know where the best conventions are, the best groups are. Myself, last year or this year, since I've opened, I put on 4 major diecast convention groups where we rented out a hall, had like 100, vendor spots there. So we had 100 vendors there with diecast and collectibles, where the public could come in and purchase and come in and see everything. So their chances are, if you hit the social medias, YouTube, talk to you guys, talk to me, there's a lot of places you can go out and meet people in your community. That's one of the best things when I opened this store, just talking to so many people that come from different diecast backgrounds. I'm going to do a couple shout outs to Charm City guys in Baltimore, Maryland, that come and see me on a weekly basis. They drive 2 hours a weekend just to come see me. Wow. I have people from New York and Canada drive all the way down once a month just to come in this store and get their championship belt picture put up on our Facebook page. And so that way it's down south too. So we have so many people that travel 500 miles once a month just to come see us because of the atmosphere of these House of Cars locations and what we bring to the diecast community.
That sounds really cool. And I think, another thing I'm seeing a lot in the comments is people saying, hunting on the pegs at your local stores, your big box stores, it just doesn't cut it anymore. You've got them. Most of them are picked clean. Even in smaller towns like where I live, where all 3 Walmarts, I know that there is a group of guys that goes every day around and just like vultures picks everything clean in a matter of seconds. And so good luck finding anything. And then ordering stuff online, you can do that, but it's not cost effective at all because you're usually paying, 20 to 30% extra in shipping. And, so it does feel like I think it's a really cool idea to take the hobby and turn it into an experience. Like going to a House of Cars sounds like, it's not just going to a store. You're getting the House of Cars experience. You're getting a certain standard when it comes to selection, when it comes to service, when it comes to a staff that lives, eats, and breathes these things, and will recognize when somebody tries to return their Hot Wheels hauler set with 4 main lines strapped in it, as we see all too often.
Nice try.
Yeah. So
usually anybody that purchases here never brings it back unless they, want store credit for something new. So
right.
And it's amazing. I love talking to the customers that come in, because one of the things that since I've only been in diecast for about 3 years because of how I got into it, I got people that come in because they know, oh my God, I'm going to bring some red lines. But not only that, is I sit down with them for an hour and they tell me the history of the red lines and how they got them. Sure. And then I get to learn so much about diecast that I never even knew. And people just, especially the older gentlemen that come in, you see a tear come in their eye because they get to explain this to you, and they have a passion from it since Hot Wheels came and since 1968, and it's just an overwhelming feeling when you get to talk to these people, and they know they ain't gonna get that at Walmart.
Yep, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, they may get ran over at Walmart.
I've tried to talk to the Walmart greeters about diecast, but they're not interested generally. So tell me to leave, sir. Let me see your receipt. Where's your receipt, sir?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you get that tear in the eye because it's just finally meeting another person that wants to talk about them, and instead, like, okay, weird grown man with your
backing
obsession
away
with tiny
slowly.
cars. Yeah, that's cool. You like small cars. That's great. No, so yeah, I get that. It's an emotional thing to be able to find people that are kindred spirits in a hobby like this, because it is a vast hobby, but it can also be a lonely one. It's especially if you're feeling like you're just haunting the Walmart pegs, elbowing your way past a bunch of teenagers and 10-year-olds trying to get Hot Wheels cars. But yeah, Rico says every collector should search out and hit up the nearest House of Cars or any diecast show, convention, or store near them. I agree. It's the community part is great. I think that I don't know where I've heard it, but I've heard it before that there's never been a better time to be in this hobby. I can't remember who says it though. It's been said so infrequently.
Pretty wise man.
Pretty wise man.
Dumb.
Hey Freddie, so you're 3 years in as a full-time diecast nerd like us. What's in your collection, man? What are you digging?
Well, I'm like a majority of my collectors now. I am really focused on Mini GT. One of the new products that you didn't even mention was Mini GT put out a Christmas edition this year. They're putting out a 999 edition of Bentley Continental. I have them coming in this week actually already. They are really stepping up when it comes to the detail, to the diecast, and all that stuff. And then the Cato House
that last year.
And the Cato House selection from them, is just crazy. So I started collecting all the Catos because another thing is, you go to these mom and pop stores and some of them, or you're going to go, buy these things from online eBay or something. You're not going to get Catos that might be sealed. You might get them that have been opened and tampered with.
Sure.
At our locations, you get them right out of the case. So we put them right in the thing, and you get a chance to get your chase. And we love seeing our customers get chases. It's something you always find here. But yeah, I collect the Mini GTs. I collect the Cato houses now. I collect cool combis because my customers got me into that. But I do collect. I have every one of the ID cars that have ever been made from Hot Wheels line.
Wow.
I'm one of the sad ones that are sad that was discontinued. I never played with the app, but I did collect all of them.
I think a lot of us really liked those cars because they were nice looking. They didn't have a metal base, but they're great looking cars.
I kept them all in the box, and I made wood shelves and I displayed them in my basement. It was really nice. And then I used to collect all the super treasure hunts that I could get, RLCs, conventions, but I put those in my store when I opened it because they're that's a lot of revenue right there. So
wow, that sounds it sounds like a dream. Like I'm sitting here going, how do I get into this?
Do you have a vending machine in your basement, Freddie?
Oh yeah.
I have a claw machine in my store where you can come in and get
whoa.
But we actually have two stores. We have two of our stores in House of Cars that actually have vending machines that you come in, you put, a couple $dollars in, and you'll get something out of it. A Hot Wheel or diecast or House of Cars exclusive car or something to do with that. Not only does House of Cars, have all the diecast, but we also have our own licensed customizers that make cars for our stores that you can only get at House of Cars. So, and then obviously everybody's seen the House of Cars exclusive with Mini GT and Auto World and Greenlight and Johnny Lightning, where we do with the conventions and stuff. You can only get those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only get those that
everybody.
are trusted vendors and from a House of Cars location. So.
Well, you guys really put on quite an event. I I scored big at the vending machine. That was one of my favorite memories from the convention. So
Pretty
the
fun.
whole, yeah, like I said, the whole thing was just a blast, and it was like enough to do 2 or 3 days. Like it wasn't a come in 2 hours, you're done.
Well, like I said earlier, you have no idea what's in store for the next couple of years. We have so much working with so many partners and so many brands right now. I wish I could tell you guys what's going on, but I can't do that right now. But I just want to tell everybody else. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble, you know.
Well, it's just
But I do
between the
want to
four
tell
of us.
I do want to tell everybody that every one of your House of Cars locations is a small business. So when you stop shopping at Walmart and Target and you stop at one of these, you're actually putting food on the table for your local hobbyist that's doing something for you. You know, they're taking the time out to run that register for, 7 days a week so you can get your die cast. So go support one of your House of Cars locations or even one of your, small end hobby, mom and pop hobby shops, because those are the people that care about you in the die cast community.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
well said. Now I'm curious because you said you've been in this for 3 years. Tell us what you were doing before this, because you've got kind of an interesting story leading up to it as well.
Well, I've been in the military. I was in the government, and I'm a government contractor now. So I technically never left my full-time job. There's two types of ways you can run a business. One, you can run it yourself, where you're behind the register every day, and the other one, you can have a full staff to do it. And I chose to do the full staff, where I can focus on large-scale events for the public and car shows and everything else we do crazy here at House of Cars. But I still run my day-to-day government contractor work, and I come in the store whenever I want and make my schedule how I want to do it, and I get to live both worlds.
It's pretty cool.
That is really cool. So is that kind of a, like, for the people who run these locations, do they usually have like multiple jobs, multiple streams of income, or
Most of them are them local mom and pops that that is their source of income. That's what's going to put food on the table, is their local store, and that's how they want to do it. So I mean, that's some of them, that's their dream. They've always wanted to open that diecast store, like all these all these people watching here today. They want to open a diecast store. Well, it's not a bad dream to do, especially if you can be successful at it.
Yeah, there are worse ways to spend your day, I'm sure.
There are definitely worse ways to spend the day.
Yeah. And David.
So Freddie, you kind of touched on your service in the military, and we all thank you for that. And I'm just curious, do you have anything specific at your store where you hope to stay connected with other veterans?
We are a veteran business here at House of Cars Virginia, and we do work with some of the communities. We work with Gifts for Angels, which helps a lot of the kids in the area with toys and stuff like that. We are a drop-off location for them as well, and all of our events we do give backs with them. We also teamed up with Homeless for Fredericksburg, which is a local organization where one of my staff members' idea, where we provide the homeless out here with everything they need to live out to what they're doing, through blankets and toothpaste, deodorant, stuff that we can help out, that our local community can reach out and help out with. But we do also work with the what is it? I got to draw a blank. The DMV. They're veteran.
Come with the VA.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so we work out with a lot of them too, and try to make sure we can help all the home, because we do get a lot of veterans that collect diecast, because that's their way of coping with whatever losses they've come out with. The DAV, sorry, the DAV is what I'm talking about. Yeah, but there's a lot of veterans that this is their way of coping with their PTSD and their problems that when they served, is diecast cools them down and helps them out. So we take the time to try to reach out to everybody that we can to help them.
That's awesome, man. Mm-hmm. We'll stay in touch. We also do something every year called the Diecast Day of Giving that Mark started. Mark, why don't you tell him a little bit about it, just real quick?
Oh yeah, so Diecast Day of Giving we do once a year, and generally in October, mid-October, and we have everyone in the world. It's kind of become a world event. Donate cars to their local charities. whether it is Samaritan's Purse, Salvation Army, Children's Hospitals, Seattle Children's, St. Jude. And so we have everyone donate locally, and then we tally how many cars we raised for that day. It typically turns into a couple weeks of people dropping them off and stuff. But I think first year was 4,700 cars, somewhere around there. Second year was a little over 10,000. And then this year is 12,000 and change, 12,600 or something. So
we're still going.
Our goal, yeah, we're still going. I'm going to go up until Christmas time, most likely. But our goal is numbers like 250,000 and 500,000.
We'll get there one day.
Yeah. So,
and I can envision little drop-off boxes at every House of Cars store. I think that'd be so cool. And man, it'd be cool if you guys were a part of it. Maybe next year, and we'll give you a heads up on that. But
yeah, please do. We'd love to do that for you guys. I mean, that's something that I can ensure that my customers would be thrilled to do it. So.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of generous people. I think this year we touched on it recently in private conversation, but just there was a lot less people this year, but a lot bigger amounts. So I think as it spreads and more people figure out about it, like if like I always say, like if everyone can drop off one car and they've got a place close by to do it, like House of Cars, then if 250,000 people donate one car, that's 250,000 cars. So it'll be, as it spreads, I think it'll get a lot bigger, but we're just trying to get the word out every year and continue to
if you're still doing it till Christmas this year, then I challenge everybody that's in Northern Virginia, Baltimore, and all the surrounding states to bring some cars here, and we will match those cars. Whatever you guys give, we will double that and give them to you.
Oh, boom.
You heard that?
Oh,
that is all right, let's do that.
Better show up.
Yeah, it's a great thing. A lot of people are really into it. We just had Larry Wood on, and he wants to help us at Hot Wheels conventions put up collection bins and stuff too for next year. So, we really want this to be big, and it's such a cool and simple idea because it is decentralized. We're not asking people to send cars to one location. We are just asking them to document their donations, send in, pictures, send in a receipt, send in whatever to drivendreams.org, and just to post what you've done. And then we add it to the pile. And it's fantastic that we've gotten over 12,000 cars this year. And I really think we can hit that 20 by Christmas. We just need to keep getting the word out there. Yep. So anybody watching, that's drivendreams.org. And again, we'll keep, apprised of what Freddie's doing over there, and maybe we can get more of House of Cars involved in this, because that's a really cool challenge to have that match. Thank you, Freddie. So
of course, Freddie, appreciate it.
Going back to the customization and veterans thing, Naruto Wolf says, I'll say this: customizing diecasts helps with PTSD because you're keeping your mind and hands busy and away from dark areas. And it's like meditation for whatever reason. I agree with that. It is a very meditative process.
And Naruto, I saw earlier in the chat, Naruto is a veteran himself. And he also happens to be in Louisiana, which is where I'm from. So that's glad that you're here, Naruto. And thank you for serving.
Yeah. That's a good question too. Do you get a lot of customizers in your shop, and do you sell any things to kind of support the customizers out there?
Actually, there is a lot of customizers out here, and because of it, House of Cars is developing its own customizing kits and retooling kits and wheel swapping kits and stuff like that. A lot of our stores carry the wheels and the axles, and for custom, if you're just getting into regular customizing, you start with wheel swaps. Obviously, most people usually starts with that and then goes on after that. So yeah, we do carry the wheels and the axles and all that other stuff for you to get that started, and we're partnering up with a bunch of companies to bring out the wheel swap kits with all the tools necessary to do it as well. I think for this holiday season, we actually have kids workshops being offered at all House of Cars locations, where they get to learn how to put decals on cars and wheel swaps and put their own wheels and just decorate cars. So really most cool. House of Cars locations are doing that, so look out for something like that from your local House of Cars for this year.
Man, you guys are killing it, Freddie.
We're trying, and I mean, we go. It's all up to the the individual business owner. Like over here, we have crazy online auctions twice a week. So we do. We're big on our Facebook groups. You can find any of the House of Cars groups on Facebook. Ours is House of Cars Virginia. We actually have the business page and then the group. You would want to join the group. We actually have live diecast auctions twice a week with our Mad Mike guy. He comes in and he just raids our back room, and you can get diecast, any kind of diecast you want, and it's a really good time to be online. So if you're on Facebook, House of Cars Virginia, we're on Instagram, House of Cars Virginia, TikTok. Most of y'all probably see my TikTok videos. The Pamela Pumpkin workout video. I actually did that stupid thing, and several other stupid TikToks. But you can follow us on YouTube and all that stuff. And because it's people like you guys, there's a big demand for people showing off their collections and stuff. So we want to start our YouTube. We have a YouTube channel now, but we want to start doing interviews with local collectors and getting them some screen time and making them letting the world see their collections, because I think that will get more people inspired to come forward and just be available. A lot of the diecast collectors are just people that want to stay to themselves, and getting more of them out of the closet and out in the open would be beneficial.
Yeah, that's that's the first step. That touches on something. If you happen to be watching this and you feel a little squeamish when you walk down the toy aisle at Walmart, just own it. Just own it. You like cars for a reason,
sure, and
like your hobby.
If you think you're the only one, show up at Walmart at 7 a.m. You're probably not the only one.
Nope.
You're just the last one.
That's right.
Now, it's interesting. You mentioned that, like, having local collectors, because you're like about an hour from DC, right? So Bruce Pascal would be in your neighborhood, wouldn't he?
Yes, and I have not seen his collection yet, but I hear that he's open like every couple Sundays in the year, and he has a long waiting list for people to come and look at his collection. Yeah, that's one of those dream interviews that I would love to do.
Oh yeah,
he'll
do it. He's been on our show, so I'm
okay. Yeah. So yeah, all the Charm City and Maryland guys come out here quite often. And we're an hour away from Richmond, so we get all of them. But it's amazing. Again, it's amazing that a lot of our collectors are from out of state. They travel states just to come through and put us on it and put us on the map. You got Disney World, then you got House of Cars. If you're going to go to Disney World, you go to House of Cars too. So
yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I'm shocked there isn't one in Orlando by now.
Yeah. I would drop
make it out there.
Well, there's one a couple hours away from Orlando.
Well, Tallahassee isn't exactly. That's kind of a hike from Orlando, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, we are looking for somebody to open one in Orlando. We'd love to have somebody open one in Miami, and we would love to have one in Tennessee, Nashville. I mean, all these large areas. There are so many diecast people everywhere. I mean, this is something that in a couple of years you'll look back and you'll be like, oh, now there's 100 House of Cars locations. What the heck happened?
Yeah. I could totally see Gatlinburg, like Jeff's saying, working just because of that location. There's so much car stuff that happens there. People riding Tail of the Dragon and being up in the Blue Ridge Mountains and stuff, and all that's near there. So, but yeah, that's really cool. And again, really exciting to see not just the fact that there's like this big brand growing, but that it is a brand made up of independent operators, mom and pop shops, as you said. Like these are independent people. This is by hobbyists for hobbyists, and while it has that support system, each one is still independently run, and that is super cool. Naruto says, question, I feel embarrassed about going down the toy aisle. Man, be proud to love the hobby you do and enjoy your talents. Now, well,
that's what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about.
Yeah, David Johns isn't embarrassed about anything.
I mean, look at me. Look at me.
He's here.
You can tell that.
He's here.
So no,
like I said, if you think you're the only one, you show up at a Target at 8 a.m. and see if you're the only one. You're not. So you'll be around your kind of people. So
put on your New Balance shoes and get out there.
Or anything, just bring a chair to House of Cars and just sit in this. We have people come in, just come in here and relax for hours at a time. Talk to people. So go to a hobby store or go to House of Cars and just pull up a chair, drink your coffee every Saturday morning and talk to people.
I know what
There
you
you
mean,
go.
because there was a model railroad shop near where I grew up in Sarasota, Florida, that people would do that. They would travel for hours there and they would just hang out because it was, it's being amongst your people. And there's just such an energy that you get from that, and that's why I think if you're in this hobby, you need to go to one of these specialty shops. You need to go to a House of Cars convention, Diecast SuperCon, one of the Weekend Wheels, or the magical weekend, whatever it is at Disney World, or like find one of these shows to go to, because it is such a refreshing thing. And, we're looking forward to doing some more shows ourselves this coming year, and just getting involved in the hobby. And, and it's, like I said, it's been amazing how open people have been, that we've been able to talk to people like Bruce Pascal and Mike Zarnock, and, and
Larry
Eddie
Wood.
at Larry Wood, and Eddie at Maisto, and Chad at Round 2. And we're just like amazed at the accessibility of this, because these are people that love what they do and love talking to other people who love the hobby as well. So it's, there's very few hobbies out there where the people that are making it are as into it as the people that they serve. And I think that's very cool.
No snobs.
Not really. Some snobs.
One or two.
None of you fine folks listening here. But anyway, as we wrap things up, Freddie, I think we've already kind of said where people can find you, follow you, but is there anything in particular coming up in the next little bit that you would like to leave people with, or remind people to take action on?
Well, for Christmas time frame, our location here, if you're in anywhere our area, come bring a toy in, because for House of Cars Virginia, along with a lot of local car clubs, we're going to roll out in December, and we're going to deliver toys, and it could even be Hot Wheels, and we're going to roll out with a bunch of car clubs in the area, and we're going to give back to several families in Fredericksburg, Virginia, that have no Christmas this year. So
Awesome.
if you can come out and support us, again, this is a small business. If you know retail, small businesses, it's hard right now for small businesses to stay afloat. Come support your small businesses, keep us going, keep everybody else going in the House of Cars and all the mom and pop stores. You can, the Walmart doesn't need your money. We could take it. And then just know that, we're out here for you if you need us. If you want to talk about diecast and you just want to socialize with some good people, join our networks, House of Cars Virginia, at all handles, TikTok, Instagram, Discord, Reddit, everything at House of Cars Virginia. We'll talk to you for hours. My staff, we enjoy what we do. I purposely hire people that's never touched diecast in the whole world, so I can train them and teach them the proper ways of talking to people such as yourselves, and handling diecast, and then just getting them aware of the whole situation. And then they start loving to being here. So yeah, come join our groups, come see us, come see a House Cars location near you. You can join the many Facebook groups out there. If you've never been on social media that much, there's so many Hot Wheel groups. A couple, if you're somebody that's conscientious about selling stuff online, there's a group just dedicated to help you with scammers and stuff like that on Facebook, all diecast reference checks. You can actually ask for a reference check from them, see if they're on the good sellers list. Yes, there's a good sellers list, there's a bad sellers list.
Nice.
Exactly. You know what? Make sure if you're selling stuff on Facebook and Instagram, make sure you're doing goods and services, not friends and family. That way you don't get scammed. We want to make sure that all of our collectors out here, especially all of you listening, are doing all this stuff safely, and we don't want nobody losing their money. We want you to get your product. And lastly, come see us at House of Cars Virginia. Order something online at housecarsvirginia.com. You can pre-order all car cultures from Hot Wheels, all retros, all Katos, all mini GTs. You can buy from us directly. Target ain't going to have them, but we will have them for you.
Awesome, man. You guys are doing it right, Freddie, and the whole community needs you, needs the organization, needs everything House of Cars is doing. We can't thank you enough for the vision that the entire company's got and headed in.
And if you're interested in opening a House of Cars, you can House of Cars Virginia, or just look me up on Facebook or Freddie Boggs, and I'll be gladly to help you to talk to you and get you started in opening your own diecast store.
Outstanding.
Awesome. Amazing.
All right, everybody. Well, again, thank you so much, Freddie, for being here. Thanks to the folks who are joining us live. And thank you to everyone who is watching, listening, wherever you are. We are so grateful that you joined us. A special shout out, as we always do, to our patrons, especially our executive producer level patrons. That would be Mr. Toys Diecast, Donald Rashik, First and 64th Customs, and Video Geek Productions. Thank you to everybody who supports the show, keeps the lights on, and pays for things like this StreamYard that, when it's working, work fantastically. If you want to know more about supporting the show, you can visit diecastbreakdown.com or click the little join button down below where you'll get behind the scenes access to things. And I've been adding some more stuff to it. There's been a couple exclusive customs that I've done just for our patrons to look at. And there's going to be a lot more cool stuff coming in the coming year. So be sure to stick around, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and of course, please share this if it means something to you. If you like seeing these interviews, please share it with your friends, post it in your favorite Facebook communities. It really does a lot to help the show grow. And again, thank you so much for making it to the end of another episode of Diecast Breakdown. As always, we want to thank you for coming along with us for the ride. So until next time, stay fresh, cheese bags.
And happy Thanksgiving.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. God bless America.
Be safe out there.
God bless us, everyone.
Everyone. Oh.
Tiny Tim.
We're so good at being quiet at the end of the show.